Hi, everyone. Coming on live. We've got an active situation in Las Vegas at the University of Las Vegas. They are reporting a school shooting, and the suspect is deceased, but there are multiple victims. I am going to share out the stream since I just made it live right away. And let everybody know that I am online and live. So we are following a shooting out of the University of Las Vegas. As I said, I'm just posting the live so everybody knows. Yep. And I do have some coverage that I can show you. I am going to back it up here a little bit. Let me get that shared here. All right, and I'm going to turn my volume on.
Situation that is unfolding there over in Las Vegas. And so this is one of the posts that came in from the school itself, UNLV. As we mentioned, several of the witnesses have said that they were pretty much just alerted by police multiple times as to exactly what was going on as they were sent these alerts, and those were pushed onto X or Twitter as well. This is one of them that said, please shelter in place. This remains an active investigation. The suspect has been contained, and that is according to police. Now, initially, they said that they were responding to an active shooter in BEH, and they urged people to shelter in place. After that, they did say that they were responding to additional reports of shots fired in the student union, and that area was evacuated. They said in all caps, run, hide, fight. Now, at this point, Las Vegas police have said that there are, quote unquote, multiple victims. However, an exact number has not been released just yet. And I'm going to.
All right, so I'm just going to pause there and let everybody know that's coming in. That this started, I believe, about an hour ago at the University of Las Vegas. The suspect is deceased, but they are reporting multiple victims. And there's a press conference or something coming up here, so I'm learning what's going on right with you guys. I just got done with work and saw this, so wanted to come on and share with everyone.
Take you out to this live image once again that we do have. It looks like someone is.
This is a text from the university that talks about where the shooting was. I can talk about that.
All right, so that's actually a reporter there in the background, so we're going to dip that audio right back down. We have heard reporters that have been speaking with essentially different witnesses, different students, staff that are there on the campus as all of this was playing out. But if you are just joining us here as we do approach the 4 o'clock hour on the East Coast and the 1 o'clock hour over on the West Coast, I do want to get to the latest information.
I'm not sure
the latest that is known so far after the shooting here that happened at the University of Nevada there in Las Vegas. The Las Vegas Metro Police Department saying a suspect is located and is deceased in that shooting at UNLV. UNLV first reported the incident in a post on X around 11:53 a.m. local time there, saying, quote, University police responding to report of shots fired in BEH. Evacuate to a safe area, run, hide, fight. BEH, of course, is one of the buildings there, a hall located on campus. Now, in a second post about 6 minutes ago at 11:59 a.m. local time, the school updated that university police were, quote, responding to a confirmed active shooter situation in BEH. They said this is not a test. Las Vegas police confirmed at 12:04 p.m. that officers were responding to preliminary reports of an active shooter on UNLV's campus. Quote, there appears to be multiple victims. LVMPD, that's what they're called there, did respond, and they did say that people need to
Christ,
avoid
they're
that
not
area. What you're
running.
looking at on your screen is from our Fox 5 Las Vegas team, and it looks like students, staff, everyone is being escorted there off of the campus after they did shelter in place. Again, a very active scene, and we do have several different cameras
I'm
that
going
are
to
out there
fast
coming
forward
in
here a
from
little
our
bit because I
Fox
know
5.
somebody talked. Here we go.
They are deceased, so there is no one on the run, according to police. But as you can see, still a very active scene there. I do want to talk more about the situation that is unfolding, so let's bring in former FBI agent Scott Duffy to talk more about this. Scott, thank you so much for taking the time to be here. Obviously, a lot left to figure out and a lot to piece together, I would say.
Yes, absolutely. And thanks for having me this evening.
Of course. Now, my first question for you is a question that I ask whenever there is a major situation where a lot of people need to be informed. What do you think so far about the flow of information that we have seen from authorities, from the university to college students that were there on campus, and also to members of the media to inform the public? What are your thoughts overall about the flow of information?
Yeah, I would agree that the flow of information that's coming out is at a good pace. And unfortunately, in today's day and age, this is one of many. And so each and every time any one of these locations, whether it be the police department, in this example, a school, it's very important that the information be quick, be concise, and get information out for the safety of those that are in that area. But at the same time, be very leery of what you put out, because you don't want to put out a timeline or anything like that that could then be contradicted later on, simply because people were putting out information prior to verifying it. So public safety is paramount. Law enforcement is going to tweet or do whatever that they do to get out on their social media platforms to, for example, I saw one, stay out of the area. If you know you're driving in that area and all of a sudden you see this social media, stop, turn around. So for the sake of the students, especially because this was an on-campus shooting, that the school is trying to put everybody in lockdown, try to follow what has been in place, run, hide, fight in that format until the scene has been secured. And then I saw the piece of information from the department that says that the shooter, right, has been found deceased. And that's important, but at the same time, not to let our guards down that there could not be a secondary or a third. So I feel like it's a good pieces of information that come out in order to keep the public informed.
And as somebody who worked with the FBI, so you are familiar with situations like this that happen, how exactly do you go about responding to a situation like this where you hear report of an active shooter? There are, two different locations where the shooter has apparently sprayed bullets at this point in those areas. We know there are reports of multiple victims. How exactly do you go about responding to a situation like this as the information?
Okay, so just to give you guys all a heads up, I'll continue here in a minute. What we know is that he was shooting in one building, but bullets from that building went into another building. So the buildings had to have been pretty close together where, they went from one building into another building. We do not have any information as to who the suspect is, how many victims there are. They haven't said anything about that right now. I was just kind of looking online to give you guys an update. But let's see what they have to say here, and maybe we'll get more information.
Is coming in.
Yeah, excellent question. And so there's really two components to that, if I can. So even as an FBI agent, if I am, for example, if this was something that was in my area, so I can say anyone in the area an earshot of the University of Nevada, Las Vegas campus, that first and foremost, anyone, any law enforcement officer, any FBI, ATF, any federal officer, anyone that is armed, are advised to respond in, and that is being law enforcement. And there are so many alert trainings and house trainings and so forth for law enforcement that everyone knows converge on the area, and ultimately you're looking for teams if the threat is still active, and then go ultimately to what you believe is the center of the attention. If there's an active firefight, law enforcement is trained to head into the fight and terminate the threat. And then as a secondary, you have a flood of investigators coming in from federal, state, and local.
All right, I'm going to turn this down a little bit. So the information that I'm
traffic
getting
control
right
people
now
control, you're talking about
is
crime
that
scene security,
shots
and
were
as we're
reported
hearing
at the
early,
Beam
possibly
Hall,
two scenes, and there could be
as
additional
well
scenes.
as UNLV's
So, for example,
Student Union.
where if for example, the shooter, how did he or she arrive at the scene? Dropped off Uber or bus.
And I know I'm behind here, so let's see. This is just an
place of
FBI
safety, and
agent
then of course to loved ones and
talking.
counselors, so they can begin to move forward
We'll
with
get
their
to some of the
lives,
pictures
and
that
then
are
ultimately have the crime scenes secured, so they can do a very slow, methodical forensic and other types of investigation.
All right, Scott Duffy, former FBI agent, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here. Is there anything else that you want to add before I let you go?
Oh, they're going to be talking to people here shortly.
No, it's unfortunate, and I know, especially with everything that's taking place, that that there's heightened awareness. There's a tremendous amount of confusion out there with regards to colleges and campuses throughout the nation. So, right now it's a matter of a waiting game, no jumping conclusions to what was the motive, and ultimately law enforcement tries to learn from these in order to try to keep adding to the prevention. But ultimately, it's just another sad day in the nation to see this unfold before us.
All right, Scott, thank you again for taking the time to join us here and provide that information. Obviously, a lot left to figure out, but again, we appreciate you joining us here live now from Fox.
Absolutely, and thank you always.
I want to see where they're going
everybody,
next.
You are taking a live look at a podium that has now been set up as we are who were able to get to safety. We did hear from just a few more of them, so I do want to play that for you here, raw and unfiltered, on Live Now from Fox.
Okay. All right. All right, so I'm going to hold on to the microphone. We're going to look at each other.
Okay,
all right.
that's fine, yeah.
If you want to start over, feel free to start over. But all right, start by telling me what your name is and how do you spell it?
Okay, my name is Victor, Victor, and at the time I was
just a moment.
Okay.
You're doing great.
Okay.
So what year? I'll ask you something.
Okay, gotcha.
So what year of student are you?
Second year student, so sophomore.
Where were you at when all this happened?
So I was just getting to school. There was a little event going on, like with Legos, to help students with study week take their minds off of studying. And I went to the restroom, and there I got the notification from the Rebel Safe app that there was a shooting in BEH, which is like right across from Student Union. So I was obviously scared. I was like, well, what do I do here? I heard a bunch of adults yelling to shelter in place, stay in your spots, don't move. They heard lock the doors. And I was just waiting there basically. And probably 10 minutes, felt like forever. Heard loud bangs. I was like, oh no, this could be like a horrible situation. But fortunately for me, it was police, and they entered the restroom. and they saw my backpack on the floor with my shoes. They're like, hands up. So I had to come out of the restroom with my hands up. They were frisking me, checked my bag if I had anything on me. And well, they let me out of the student union, and I walked over here to safety, thankfully. And then just after I got out, I saw another report that said that there was another shots fired in the student union. So I was very lucky to get out of there. It was a scary situation. I was all by myself in the restroom.
Talk a little bit about the emotion that was going through you at that time, like confusion, fear.
Oh, definitely fear, yeah. I've only seen stuff like this happen in the movies or in the news elsewhere. I never thought it would happen here in my own community. So it was definitely terrifying. I didn't know what to do. I was like, oh, well, I can't get out of the restroom. If I stay here, they could come in. I was like, oh, I just didn't know what to do. But I just stayed. And fortunately, the police came in and, took me out of safety.
How long were you inside when all of this happened?
Probably like a good 20 minutes. Just terrified. I didn't know what to do.
And now that you're being able to step back a little bit and process what's going on, what is running through your mind about everything that you have witnessed and that we went through?
Well, honestly, I'm just like, well, what drove someone to do this? We all just come here to get an education, get a career. And like, I don't know if it's an altercation or if it was planned or something, but
here's a free.
It's just scary, man. I wouldn't want anyone to go through this. And I can't even imagine those that, that got hurt, like the victims, the family of those victims. Fortunately, I'm okay. A lot of my friends are okay, so that's good. But yeah, scary situation overall.
You've been able to check text and communicate.
All right, I'm going to share this other stream because they've actually got some information.
Something about it was just, my heart was just pounding, everything. But when I saw the window, I was like, wow, this is actually happening. I was really scared, but yeah.
Now that you've had a moment to kind of process some of the things, what are your thoughts? How crazy is your situation? What are your thoughts on this?
Came out of nowhere. I thought we were in the worst situation possible because it was a ballroom surrounded by glass. That's what I was worried about. But like I said, I didn't hear anything, so that made me feel a little better. But I'm waiting for updates. I haven't heard anything.
And I didn't get your name.
I'm Cassidy. Yeah.
Cassidy,
Yeah.
Last name?
Barton. Barton. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Anything else?
All right, we're listening in here to some more witness and people in the area reaction here as they speak on this breaking news that we're following right now. And welcome into Live Now from Fox. If you're just now joining us, I'm Lexi Petrovich. It is just 5 o'clock Eastern, and we are continuing to follow this breaking news coming to us out of Las Vegas, Nevada, where a suspect is dead, and there's been a shooting on the campus of UNLV. We're hearing that there are a number of victims, according to police, that have been taken to area hospitals. Still do not know the conditions or the other details surrounding what happened here. We also are getting more information in as well right now that's coming in through social media. This one just coming down from police, from Sheriff Kevin McMahill, saying no more threat to the community. The suspect is deceased. Right now, we know there are 3 victims, but unknown extent of the injuries. That number could change. We will update you when we know more. So this is the first time that we're getting an idea of the number of victims in this. At least 3 victims so far in this shooting that they're able to share with us, but still much more information that is going to follow here. But again, heard from police moments ago. It was a very brief update that we received from law enforcement saying just that. They want the public to know that there's no further threat. They are still handling this on campus. They are still going through different buildings, through different classrooms, making sure that there is nothing else that they may have missed so far as they try to follow this chain of events that happened since that first tweet was put out just before noon about shots fired in the BEH building on campus was where that initially started. So we are going to try to get more information here. We're also getting some live reaction right now from more people on campus. Let's keep listening in. Reaction right now from more people on campus. Let's keep listening in. Right now from more people on campus. Let's keep listening in.
They're obviously having audio issues because There's no audio.
Are on the scene
Oh,
that just to remain hiding, and then eventually they told us that they would start clearing the buildings, but we were all just in the back, like the costume room. We barricaded the doors and stuff. And
How did you do that?
so in the back there's a bunch of like heavy blocks for props and stuff for the dancers, so we put some benches and we put some of those set blocks on there to block off the doors, and the doors themselves also had locks. We locked down the building, and then eventually when it came time, one of the police officers came in and they just gave us the quick rundown of like how they would evacuate us.
And how did they evacuate you guys?
They had just a officer come in. He said he was going to check all of us, but that would have taken hours. He eventually was just like, it's okay. We just need to get you guys out of there. And that's honestly something I got to appreciate. It was all focused on our safety and getting us out as fast as possible.
So did they immediately just take you out of the perimeter, or what happened next?
Yeah, they escorted us directly out of the perimeter over to the Lutheran church, but we had a few people waiting for us, so we had to break the barricade and get out.
And you said you're just visiting. I mean, I'm sure this never occurred to you that something like this could happen while you were visiting.
Oh no, I live like right there. I was showing up to visit a friend's thing. So no, I kind of expected this kind of thing to happen at some point, but you never really want it to happen at the end of the day.
And talk to me about what you've heard about people on campus. We know that the suspect, the shooter, has been neutralized at this point, but we do know that there are several victims. Talk to me about that.
At least as far as I know, there's 25 injured as of right now. It's varying reports between 2 and 3 shooters. All I know is one is dead, one's injured, and one is hiding out at apparently a cowboy place.
We don't really know the numbers at this point. Metro says that all threats have been neutralized, but talk to me about that, knowing that fellow students or teachers, people on campus, that were just going about their day just like you.
So that's interesting. He's saying 2 to 3 shooters, and they shut that down pretty quick.
Became victims.
Well, today the campus was doing a bunch of like relaxation events because it's study week currently. It's study week and we're approaching finals week. So in the area that it happened, they were doing an event, and I was there with them this morning, and then we left early to go to the building that I had class in, and that's when we found out. So I have a picture, I have pictures and stuff from like the area, but when I found out what was happening, I just started messaging my old roommate that I had last year. I messaged like all of my friends that live on campus to make sure that they were safe, and thankfully they all told me that they got put into buildings and that they were hiding. Some of them were in the rooms and stuff, so everyone that all of my friends on campus are safe as far as I know, and I'm really thankful for that.
I'm really glad to hear that everybody that you know is okay and that you guys are okay. I'm sure that was a super traumatic situation to be hiding that many hours in a cupboard. So thank you for speaking with us. I really appreciate it. Again, we're continuing to following the developing situation.
Okay, so we are hearing from our team there at Fox 5 in Las Vegas. Let's also put up this tweet that we're getting in right here. Also from other reporters from Fav and K saying Metro currently reporting that 3 people have been shot at UNLV's campus shooting. The next police briefing with updates scheduled for 5 p.m. Pacific time. So we will be bringing that to you here live, certainly expecting more details then. We do want to continue on, though, with more of this coverage right now. And we want to bring in Bobby McDonald, who is a senior lecturer of criminal justice at the University of New Haven, who's joining us yet again. Bobby, as always, thanks so much for
All right.
joining us.
Play it, but I'm going to turn the volume down here. So obviously, yeah, a lot of off reports. I was just going to take a look here at Twitter and my Twitter account and see what's happening, because we're definitely getting
making sure that the investigation, which needs to go forward, is done in the appropriate manner and
see here.
Practices and procedures that are normally in place. As you heard the students say, campuses all over the country now, we're all involved in exam week, and our students are stressed out as it is, trying to have a little push to get some good grades towards the end of the semester before they head home. So, how unfortunate that this event took place in Vegas on a day when all students were beginning to rest and relax.
All right, LVPD.
At the end of the semester.
Yeah, you mentioned that procedure. We're continuing to get all these different live pictures in here. So we've seen a lot of activity, of course, with SWAT teams who are on campus, students walking out of classrooms with their hands up. Can you explain a little bit more about
So it sounds like we're not going to get an update. They're saying 5 p.m. Pacific time, which means we're not going to get an update for a couple hours.
We can get it out, but we've got to be very practical in the way that we investigate these issues and the way that we secure a campus. That is a large campus, 30,000.
So according to Twitter here, if I can get it to play. This is what it looked like. It's a short video. Must have been when things were happening.
In addition to figuring out what happened with the active shooter situation.
And Bobby, we were able to hear from police fairly quickly, just moments ago.
And definitely the kid said 25, but
the public know that there is no threat anymore, that the suspect is now dead. But to be able to make sure that they're crossing off all of the things in the checkbox list to make sure that they are able to confidently tell the public that, how does that process
I'm just looking here to see what I can find.
As we talked before with Josh, you've got a number of agencies that are working on this, both the Metropolitan Police, the UNLV Police, the
I'm going
Sheriff's
to
Department.
move that because they're showing pictures on that screen. So it sounded like 3 possible victims and several others injured.
All the T's are crossed, all the I's are dotted. Any evidence that needs to be picked up and brought into the chain of evidence process. Now, granted, the shooter in this case, again, appears to be deceased. We haven't had a chance, or we won't have a chance, to interview him to see what is actually going on with his or her situation. And
let's see what they're saying here.
We also have to be using all of our partner agencies out there for intelligence gathering. Who is this person? Did he go to school there? Why did he end up shooting people at the business school or in that area? Does he have health issues? Does he have regular health issues? Was he hospitalized recently? Does he have a drug or alcohol problem? Where is his family from? All of these things now are being looked at by all of these agencies working in concert with each other out there, again, to put the pieces of this puzzle together so we get some answers and get the community fully briefed on what actually went on here.
Yeah, definitely a lot that still needs to be learned here. And everybody goes to the motive, like you said, what could have caused this, the location that was chosen by the shooter, if there were any indications that this was potentially going to happen, that this was threatened at any point, and if something else could have.
Okay, so on the UNLV Twitter page, it is stating, and this was 12 minutes ago, continue to shelter in place. Police services continue to respond and clear buildings systematically. So it sounds like we still have some students in the buildings there at the school. And they're trying to get them all out. And I'm just checking some other Twitter sites here. Las Vegas PD. So from what I'm seeing, they're stating there's 3 victims, but they don't know the extent of their injuries. So, I guess we're going to have to wait for that next update at 5 p.m. Pacific time for more information. All we know is that one shooter is deceased and said multiple victims, which is kind of concerning because normally when they say victims, they mean deceased. But in everything that we're listening to and seeing, it looks like they're reporting that as injured, not necessarily deceased. So I'm just looking here, waiting to see what this video says. But needless to say, another sad day because there's another one of these shootings happening. All right. I am going to pause this one. Bring over this one.
Be providing that update very, very shortly. I want to assure the community there's no further threat. We are continuing the investigation here. This is still a very active and dynamic scene, so if you can avoid the area, we would appreciate it. And we'll be providing additional updates in the very near future. Thank you. There are victims. Yes, there are victims.
Yes, on behalf of the entire first responder community, though, of course, our hearts go out to any of the families that are affected by this. Our update right now is that we do have a reunification center that is opened up at the convention center. That's at the North Hall. It will take time to transport students over to that area, but if you can't get a hold of your loved ones right now, your kids or somebody that you're concerned with, then that would be the place to go and to try to go ahead and do that reunification. We will have people there to assist you. We also have a phone number. It is being staffed. It's 702-455-AIDE. And there'll be a website opened up, and it's facofsouthernnevada.com. Okay, and so that is our current information that we have for victim services, and that will change also as or be updated as necessary. But we will have those resources there. Understand when you call that number or you check the website, the information right now will still be limited, and there won't be any specific information as far as individuals that have been injured or deceased.
Sheriff, what's happening on the campus now? I see people leaving.
So as you can imagine, the campus is a very large area to cover. Much like we had in the aftermath of 1 October, there's a lot of additional calls coming in that students hunkered down. They're afraid, they're scared. Our officers are going unit by unit, building by building with the university police and the rest of the police officers, firefighters, EMS, and making sure that we don't have any additional victims and or subjects. So we'll be back with you in the very near future to provide an update. Thank you.
Any info on the suspect?
Sheriff, I have an update as well. I'm sorry on that website. That's going to be facofsouthernnevada.org. I believe I said .com. That is .org.
Just thank you, sir.
Everybody will have future briefings at headquarters.
All right, with that latest information from the sheriff.
All right, a rather brief briefing there by Las Vegas Police Department officials as well as university officials discussing the shooting on the UNLV campus. Officers were called to the campus in an active shooter situation. After they arrived, they say the suspect is now deceased. Officials say there is no further threat. Here are the things that we still don't know, however. We do not know how many victims there are in total. We do not know the condition of those victims. And part of the reason why we don't know that, as we heard at press conference, authorities are still going building by building, checking to find out if there are any other victims that still exist as they work to clear that campus. We are still awaiting additional information about any possible motive, who the shooter would be. At this point, we heard from LV MPD Sheriff Kevin McMahill that there is no further threat, and while it is still a dynamic scene, that the community at large knows, at least they can be assured that there is no further threat. We are going to continue to monitor this situation, bringing you all of the breaking news. Ahead, America decides. For now, you're streaming CBS News.
So it sounds like this happened. I don't have reports whether the police took the individual down or he took himself down. And Twitter's got all kinds of videos on there. They apparently have a siren that blares at this school, and the emergency alerts can be heard around the UNLV campus. So when this happened, those alerts were going out. Plus, I'm sure that they had social media alerts and everything else besides Twitter going out. It says that Las Vegas police were spotted on rooftops above the UNLV campus. Sounds like this is confined to 2 buildings. One report is that he was on the 2nd floor of one of the buildings, and some of the bullets went out of that room and may have struck other people in another building. And I'm just getting the same small 8-minute clip on X, as you would say. So in that last briefing or report that we heard about, they're going to have a press conference at 5 p.m. Pacific time. So that is going to be a while. And that doesn't sound like they're going to release any information until that next briefing. Yeah, that's what I was hearing too, Andrea. All kinds of rumors and stuff going out right now. We're just going to have to wait and see what's happening with that next press conference. Hopefully they'll have more information. But for now, I am going to jump off of here and get myself something to eat. And I will keep you updated on what is happening with this situation. Thank you to those of you who have joined me. I appreciate it. I'll see you soon. Bye.